Hey there guys, so this is the fourth installment in my guide to drafting. This episode we're going to be talking about something a little bit more advanced than what we've been talking about in my previous videos. Today we're going to talk about signaling, and in the most basic way possible. Signals are literally signals or signs that you send to your opponents or receive from them, intentionally or otherwise, about what cards are being picked in the draft. This could be showing you what colours are being taken by other people, and this can help you because you'll know not to go into those colours because you're not going to get very good cards, or at least not very many cards from them. Some less obvious signals are to do with like the rarities of the cards. Each pack contains 15 cards, 1 rare, all legendary, and 3 uncommons and 11 commons. So you can tell what kind of card your opponent's picked simply by seeing what's left. Obviously you can't talk to people during a draft, or at least the other players anyway, so the only way to know what other people are taking and to let them know what you're taking is by what cards you take and what cards are left in the pack. Normally giving information to your opponent probably isn't that good of an idea, but actually during picks in a draft it's kind of vital in order to get a decent deck. You need to be able to know you're in a colour or archetype, and that not too many other people are in that colour, so you can get some decent cards. And also you need to let other people know what colours you're in, so that they'll see they can't go into those colours and they'll pick a different one from you, again, so you get some decent cards. So let's go over the first part in a little bit more detail, and that's reading the signals of other players. We'll take a look now at some draft picks and we'll go over them, and we'll kind of see what signals these packs are giving us. Okay, so this is a screenshot of a draft pack. This is pack 1, pick 2. Obviously you don't get any signals from the very first pack because you're the only one who's taking cards from it. But this is pack 1, pick 2. You can see here that really the only signal you have, all of the colours are pretty evenly spaced. The only real signal you have here is that they definitely took the rare. This is pack 1 again, of the same draft, and this is pick 4. Here you see a lot of sapphire and only 1 diamond card, so you can probably bet that the people to your right aren't in sapphire and they are in diamond. This is pack 1, pick 7. Again you see only 1 diamond card and a whole bunch of sapphire cards. So here you can pretty much guarantee by this point that all the people to your right, they're not in sapphire, but at least some of them are in diamond. Here we have pack 1, pick 9. A really strong sapphire card here, just cementing further the fact that these people to our right are not in sapphire. A couple of, you know, half decent diamond cards, but that just probably means they've taken cards from a different colour. But a card like Mystic getting around this far to pick 9, probably a good sign that people to your right are just not in sapphire. Here we have pack 2, pick 2. Again, no signals from the first pick because only you have seen that pack so far. And we see again, there's actually quite a lot of sapphire here, but that doesn't necessarily mean anything because we're only on pick 2. The only clear signal we can take here is that they took the rare from this pack. This is pack 2, pick 4. And you see a whole lot of diamond and not a lot of sapphire, so now we're getting cards from our left. So we can probably say that these guys aren't in diamond. Solitary Exile's a really strong diamond card, and there's a lot of diamond here, so we can probably say they're not in diamond, and they most likely are in sapphire because we've not seen any really good sapphire come our way. This is pack 2, pick 6, and again there's not a lot of sapphire, there's a whole bunch of diamond, so we can pretty much guarantee that the people to our left are not in diamond, they are in sapphire. It looks like they're probably in wild as well. This is pack 2, pick 13, and this doesn't actually show much. I'm just showing you an example of just because there's a lot of cards in that colour, it doesn't necessarily mean that colour's open. Baby Yeti is a pretty awful card. Crimson Clarity, again, a pretty awful card. And Minotaur Mercenary, a pretty awful card. So these are all really bad cards. And the only signal this pack is sending us is that these cards are bad. It doesn't necessarily mean Ruby is open, just because there are a lot of Ruby cards here. It just means that, you know, these cards are bad and no one picked them. So that's sort of a rough idea of the first part, which is reading the signals of packs. It's something that will take experience to master, but as you play more, this kind of thing will become second nature to you. Next we're going to go over sending signals. Okay, so let's say we've finished our first pack. Most of the cards we pulled from our first pack were wild, and we have a few decent blood cards. The primary colour we have is wild. You open up pack 2 and you look at it and you see the best cards for you are blood aura and wild aura. I'm just using auras because they're the easiest example, really. Let's assume we want both of these cards equally. The best card to actually take here would probably be the blood aura. We already have a whole bunch of wild. We've sent a whole bunch of signals during pack 1 that we are in wild by taking all of that wild stuff that we took. We now need to balance our other colour. So for us here, taking the best blood card from this pack is going to send signals off to our right that blood is now being taken, and they'll probably, if they were thinking about going into blood, they probably won't be, because if you start sending them signals that blood is being taken, they're not going to take blood, and then when we get around to pack 3 where they're passing to us immediately, it means that we should get some decent blood cards back. Another way to send signals is by cutting people off from a colour entirely. Let's say you're on pick 5 or 6 of pack 1 and you're in wild and blood. The pack you have has 2 wild cards and 1 blood card. If you take the last blood card from this pack, you're sending a strong signal to your left that these people should not be going into blood. They aren't getting any blood cards, they shouldn't be in blood, so if they were thinking about going into blood maybe, they won't be anymore, because they aren't getting any blood cards. If you cut people off from a colour to your left, they aren't going to be taking that colour. So in pack 2, when they're passing back to you, they won't be in blood, they won't be taking blood, so they should be passing you blood cards because they're taking from a different colour. Obviously the first 3 or 4 picks in any round of a draft has the best cards, so sending these signals to the players immediately to your left or your right will influence what cards you're getting given at the start of the next pack, because you're shutting them out of colours that you're taking, so they won't be taking that. So when you get past cards from them during the next pack, you should be getting some pretty decent cards. Cutting people off is actually an ideal strategy if you're going to switch colours. Say you're in wild and blood, as I said before, but mostly in wild, and in the second pack you open up an ash harpy, so now you're like, this is a bomb, I want to switch to ruby. By picking ruby in pack 2 and sending signals to your right that you're in ruby and ruby is being taken, it means that they're probably gonna not go into ruby, or if they were thinking about it, they'll go out of ruby and switch to a different color as well. By forcing them to not have much ruby, it means that in pack 3, again, when they start passing back to you, you're going to get some decent ruby and hopefully help balance out your deck. This is a very, very basic outline of signaling. Most of this technique comes from experience and to some extent memory as well. It's very dependent on card knowledge and knowing the set and knowing the format you're playing in. It's also very, very good to remember what cards you've already seen during a draft and what packs they were in. So you're seeing what's wheeling around to you, you're seeing what cards are where and how long they've been in the draft, and that helps you see what colours are open as well. You'll get better at doing this over time. It's really just about experience, getting used to the set and remembering the cards. Like, card knowledge is a huge factor in TCGs. And, you know, remembering what cards you've already seen. The next video I'm going to do will be covering archetypes. I've mentioned this many times before in my other videos, but not really gone into too much detail about it. Archetypes are an advanced sort of deck building strategy. Advanced deck types, essentially, that you can make in draft, that usually completely break the bread system, but they're usually the most powerful decks you can make. And you can find a link to that video right below here. And again, if you enjoy these videos, if they're helping you out, then please be sure to subscribe. You'll get to see when my next video goes up straight away, and also my other content too, and you can do that by clicking up here. If you have any questions at all, please feel free to ask them in the comments below, and if you want to watch me play some Hex live and maybe ask some questions there too, then please check out my live stream my live Twitch stream, which you can find a link to below the video in the description. Other than that, guys, thanks for watching again, and I will see you next time.